Aquarium substrates. It's the stuff we put on the bottom of our aquariums to make it look a little better and hide the mess. But are they all the same? Do they affect the water, and do some of them actually have a negative effect on the water? Well, you'll have to stay tuned to find out. You might have clicked on this video and been like, it's just gravel. It doesn't mean anything. What could I possibly learn from this video? Well, it's not just gravel. There is so much more to it than that. I could make the argument that the substrate in your aquarium is equally as important as your filter, your heater, or anything else you have in there. The most critical role of an aquarium substrate is that it provides tons of extra surface area for the growth of beneficial bacteria. An aquarium with adequate beneficial bacteria is a healthy aquarium. Okay, we need to go real deep here, but I want to keep this as simple as possible. If you're new to fish keeping, you might not be aware that there's bacteria that grows in your aquarium. It's this bacteria that converts harmful things like ammonia and nitrite into nitrate, which is much less toxic for your fish. The more beneficial bacteria you have in the aquarium, the healthier it's going to be. But this bacteria only grows enough to get the job done. Once it gets to a level where it can control ammonia and nitrite, it levels off. It doesn't just keep growing. Yes, there's a constant die-off and regrowth of this bacteria, but the point is, it can only grow so much. I tell you this because if you put twice as much stuff in your aquarium for the growth of this bacteria, you're not necessarily going to get twice as much bacteria. It's basically going to grow until it gets to the right level, and then that's just what you're going to get. There's channels out there like Father Fish that are preaching that super thick substrates are the key to a healthy aquarium. I agree with him completely, but I just want to be clear that there's tons of benefits to having a thick substrate. It's just not what you think. Think about it like this. If you add an additional battery to your cell phone, or if you put another gas tank in your car and hook it up to the gas lines, is that going to make your cell phone operate faster or make your car go faster? No, it's just going to make them last longer. It's going to have them run longer before those fuels run out. It's not going to make them go twice as fast. Substrates are the fuel that make an aquarium go. They're not just for decoration. If you want to see more about the benefits of thicker substrates, I'll put a link in the description to a Father Fish video. He is much more qualified to talk about this than me. Yeah, he might come across as a grumpy old man, but trust me, I've talked to this man in person. He is a good guy, and he definitely knows what he's talking about when it comes to this stuff we put in the bottom of our tanks. All right, let's start this off talking about what I think is the most common substrate in the hobby, and that is gravel. Gravel looks really good. It's super cheap, readily available, and it's really easy to clean, which is a huge bonus. Some fish keepers might have a problem with gravel because they don't think it looks as natural as others, but to me it looks really good, and it's definitely the easiest to deal with. Plus it hides all the mess that accumulates around the bottom of your tank. And you don't have to get scared when I'm talking about gravel thinking that I'm talking about that bright pink or neon green stuff that we like to call unicorn puke. No, it's not all like that. My personal favorite is the small brown pebbles. It's like river stone. It looks really natural, and I've got it in like 5 tanks. Like I said, it's brown, which looks pretty natural, and it does a really good job hiding the things that float to the bottom that are brown. It's fish poop. When did poop become a bad word? Gravel is one of the most foolproof substrates in the hobby. It looks good, provides plenty of surface area for bacteria, and it looks pretty close to natural. Well, again, except for the unicorn puke stuff, that doesn't really look natural, but hey, you know what? If that's your thing, if that's what you like, you do you, it's your tank, set it up however you like. It's kind of like whenever Lisa wants to do something and I'm kind of questioning her about it, and she's like, hey, you know what? I do what I want. Yeah, I pretty much hear that every day. Hey, I just wanted to jump in here real quick and tell you about something that I saw at a local fish store the other day. I couldn't believe it. They had a sign hanging up in the back of the store that said, "We are giving away free fish for life to anyone that subscribes to the KGTropicals YouTube channel." I'm telling you, it's out there. Go ask your local fish store all about it. Get you some free fish. You got to subscribe to the channel first, though. Otherwise, you don't qualify for it. So click the red button down there, go to your local fish store and say, "Hey, give me my fish. You promised." You know, I could be wrong here, but I firmly believe that almost all new fish keepers start off in this hobby with gravel. It makes total sense. It's super easy. It's pretty cheap. It's kind of a no-brainer. But once they figure out how substrates work and they watch a couple of Father Fish videos or even a couple of really anybody's videos and they understand what substrate does and they really appreciate kind of a natural look, they're almost always going to transition to sand. And you know what? I don't blame them. It's not even up for debate that sand is the most natural looking substrate in the hobby. And with all those tiny little granules, it has much more surface area for the growth of bacteria than gravel. Unfortunately, it does have some drawbacks. The main drawback is it can be a little difficult to clean without sucking a bunch of it up. If you're siphoning it into buckets, that's not a big deal, but if you have it draining into a sink or a shower drain, all that sand is going down there and it could be a real problem. Now, I'm going to let you in on a little secret here that I really only tell my special friends. When you go to your local pet store and you see the sand that they have for sale, you're probably going to throw up in your mouth a little bit when you see how expensive it is. That stuff is really good, but so is play sand that you can get at Walmart for like $8. I mean, it might be a couple dollars more now. I don't really know. It's been a while since I bought it, but that stuff is super cheap and it works really well. You just have to really clean it thoroughly. Otherwise, your tank is going to be cloudy for a long time. But if you have a higher budget, the sands that are available at your pet stores will give you some variety like granule size and color. I went with black sand with some bits of white in it for my yellow lab tank. This gives it a really cool modern look and makes the fish really pop, but it came at a price. This stuff was $28 a bag, and I bought 8 bags of it. But John, you said sand can be difficult to maintain. What do I do? Well, the biggest advice I can give you is take your time. If you're someone that's always in a hurry, sand might not be for you. You're going to want to take things slow when you're cleaning it. Don't go in all aggressive like you would with gravel. You're going to end up sucking a bunch of it up or creating sand clouds that'll inevitably get sucked up into your filter and ruin it. Sand in your filter is the worst because it's going to do one of two things. It's either going to ruin the filter because those sand particles are going to get in that motor and just grind it all up, or it could make the most annoying sound you have ever heard that will drive you absolutely crazy. And so, yes, please be careful when you're cleaning sand. Don't get it all over the place and don't let it get sucked up into your filter intake. I mean, you could even just unplug your filter while you're doing your maintenance, then you don't have to worry about it. Why is everyone always in such a rush? Just slow down. Wait a minute. Are you telling me that you can put dirt in an aquarium? That's exactly what I'm telling you. I wouldn't do it, but I know a lot of people that do. Most of the people that use dirt as their substrates are people that are keeping planted aquariums. If you think about it, it makes total sense because what's better for plants to grow in than dirt? Obviously, you're not going to just go get a shovel full of dirt from your yard and put it in there. I mean, I suppose you could, but let's play it safe. Try something like potting soil that you can get from the local hardware store. That's what our friend Mike from AquaPros uses. You can see he puts a layer of sand over it. This keeps the dirt in place while also allowing the roots of the plants to go down in it and spread out and flourish. Dirted aquariums are really cool and it's something that you can show your friends and they're great for growing plants. But the thing is, there's a lot of specialty substrates that are out there that kind of have dirt and all kinds of other stuff in them that just make life so much easier. There's quite a few brands like Fluval, Brightwell, and Caribsea that make these substrates. They're not hard to find. They're a little bit expensive, so be prepared for that. But a simple Google search will help you find exactly what you want. Just understand that if you're going to start a dirted aquarium, you're going to have some challenges. I mean, like I've said over and over, they look really good and they're great for growing plants, but, well, they're messy. So just be prepared for that. Crushed coral is a super popular substrate for a couple of different reasons. The first is it looks really natural, and that makes total sense because it is natural. And second is the effect that this substrate can have on your water. Crushed coral is exactly what you think it is. It's dead coral crushed up into a sand-like material. Because it's a natural product, you'll find things like sand and little bits of shells in it, which is a look that many fish keepers love. But one of the biggest reasons to use this product is it's known to significantly raise the pH and create a harder water environment, which is great for fish like African cichlids and guppies. We get asked all the time, what's the best way to raise the pH in an aquarium? They'll say, my tap has a pH of 6.5 coming out of it, and I can't keep African cichlids, or my guppies won't breed. What should I do? To me, using a product like crushed coral is kind of a no-brainer because you're not going to have to be mixing up a bunch of chemicals and constantly monitoring things and all of that. You just put that substrate in there, it hardens up the water, it raises the pH, and you're good to go, and you never have to worry about it. Yeah, it does wear off through time, and it might not have the same effects. You might have to switch it out, but it takes a while for that to happen. I've said it like 8 times in this video already. It's a no-brainer. The biggest thing I would suggest about this substrate is do some research on the fish that you're trying to keep before you use it. An example would be if you're going to keep discus and you put crushed coral in that tank, it's going to have the opposite effect on the aquarium that your discus are going to want. So you got to know this before going in. But if the fish you're keeping or want to keep like that harder water with a higher pH, this is a great way to go. You might be wondering why anyone would want a bare bottom tank, because it's just so dull and boring. Well, believe me when I tell you there are people out there that like this, and I'm one of them. Bare bottom tanks aren't just the lazy man's approach to decorating a tank. There's a few challenges with this strategy, but the main reason people will choose to have no substrate at all is simplicity. I'm somebody that appreciates a minimalist approach to decorating an aquarium. I just like the fish to be the focal point. And if that sounds like something you might want to do, let me give you a few reasons why you might not want to do this. Like I was talking about earlier, substrates play a critical role in the overall health of your aquarium. If you choose no substrate at all, you're going to lose that, and you'll need to keep a really close eye on things to make sure everything stays balanced. And then there's the number one reason to not keep a bare bottom tank: fish poop. No matter what substrate you choose, they're great for hiding fish poop and other debris that, if there's no substrate at all, just be floating around looking pretty nasty. In my 360-gallon tank that I've been showing you footage of during this segment, I've got 9 beasts in there. And these beasts are big, giant poopers. I mean, they're like Tootsie Rolls rolling around all over the place on the bottom of the tank. If that's something that sounds horrifying to you, I don't blame you. I've got to constantly go in there with a net and pull poop out. It's horrible, but that's the way I like it, so I'm willing to deal with that. But if that sounds like a nightmare for you, you might want to at least get some gravel or something in there. It's going to help you keep a healthier aquarium, and it's going to look a little better, if that's your thing. So there you go. I hope this has opened your eyes up a little bit and got you to think about some other things that you may not have been thinking about when it comes to substrates, like their importance in the health of your aquarium. They're not just for decoration. They are so much more and so critical to a healthy aquarium. So I hope that I made that clear for you and made it easy to understand. Thank you so much for for watching. Don't forget, your free fish are waiting for you at your local pet store. If you just tell them that you subscribe to this channel, they'll give them to you. I promise. Tell them I told you. They'll do it. Don't really do that. Please don't. There's going to be somebody that's going to do that, and I'm going to get in big trouble. I hope you understand that that is totally a joke, and it's just a ploy to get you to subscribe to the channel. Oh, I hope I didn't get myself in trouble. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Bye.